Happy October to you. It is Claudia. Let me share with you the oil that I am most excited about that you get free on loyalty, and that is Raven. Why am I excited about Raven? Raven is a staple for me. It's an oil that I use in my diffuser. I use it as part of chest rubs. I use it when seasons change, and I also use it during a time period of any kind of change in the atmosphere. So if there's things blooming outside, this is a staple, Raven. To get it free on a $100 on a 100 PV order is amazing. And I want to explain what a PV order is because I also messed up in talking to you. So when you have your own account with Young Living, right, you can use it two ways. You can use it as a quick order, or you can have the loyalty order. The loyalty order always has more perks. You can cancel at any time. There's no inquisition to keep you on. So you could step off, step on, as long as you stay in control of your personal account. So Raven with a 100 PV order, PV means point value. And what I have sometimes is I have some team members that they purchase, maybe they see the total 100 or 115, it includes shipping, it includes tax, and they're like, okay, I'll get my Raven. Last month, the oil was vanilla. There was a lot of excitement for vanilla because the vanilla oil, getting it free on a PV, on a 100 PV order, it felt almost like you were getting 50% off of your personal order. But what took place with a lot of people on our team was their PV was 88, 91, 93. They didn't look at the PV order, they looked at the total, and they thought, oh, for sure, I'll get a free vanilla. Nope, they missed the PV total. The PV total is important for two reasons. It's important for you to look at your freebie gifts. It's also important for you to look at your account eligibility for wholesale. So for example, if you don't use your account every month and a year passes, your account becomes inactive in the sense that the only way to have access to wholesale again is to make sure you have one order per year that the PV is 100. PV 100, not the dollar amount, PV. And it says it right there. You'll see the total price, you'll see your taxes. It will always give you the PV amount. So if your PV amount once a year is 100, you get wholesale that whole year. You could do quick orders as much as you want. Get your beauty creams, your oils, your vitamins, your ningxia, whatever it is you need for your personal wellness. Your account makes things easy. Raven is also my favorite, right, in the diffuser. And this is a conversation that people have about Raven. Raven, when you put it in the diffuser, most people see its effects very quickly, especially if you take care of your lungs and you want happy lungs. Raven in the diffuser is beautiful. Now, some people will say, yeah, I diffuse Young Living. I don't see much of a difference. I don't see a health benefit. So let me point something out to you. When people have toxic air fresheners, most people don't notice off the bat the bad consequences that an air freshener has. So did you know that air fresheners, because of the synthetic ingredients, do you know it could sometimes for some people cause migraines, respiratory issues, skin issues, hormonal issues, right? The list is very long, very detailed, very dangerous. It can even affect you neurologically. Did you know that? But because sometimes people want to smell a fragrance and they want their house to smell like fall, or they want their house to smell like pumpkin, and it's very inexpensive, sometimes people don't make the connection. And people that have done research or people that have made a switch to a toxic-free home, when they're more conscious, they're like, you know what, I'm only gonna diffuse Young Living, or I'm only going to make something in my home for fragrance that I know what the ingredients are. Until somebody gets to that point, most people, when they plug in, when they do toxic, when they get a cheap oil, They're like, yeah, I just use this inexpensive oil for fragrance. That's my favorite line because I have fragile lungs. So a cheap oil in a diffuser would be more dangerous for me, right? Because the diffuser, what does it affect? You breathe it in. Your animals breathe it in. Your birds breathe it in. Your children breathe it in. If it's synthetic, if it's toxic, if it's cheap, there's consequences, even if you don't feel it. So when you flip the switch, and let's just say you diffuse Young Living, sometimes because we're used to toxic fragrance, the fragrance for our oil, since it's plant-based, it's not as powerful. You don't walk into that wall, unless it's something like peppermint or raven or RC. Most of the lavenders is very gentle. It's there. Benefits are there. But people sometimes don't notice good benefits. They don't notice their personal calmness. They don't notice their personal air quality. I absolutely will, because I'm a human canary. In other words, if there's a cat in my atmosphere, I notice it. People who love cats don't notice it. What? Phyto's affecting you? I don't notice it. But for me that has a lung issue, I'm like, I know there's a cat before anybody else knows there's a cat, unless it's the householder who has the pet cat, right? So sometimes people think, well, you know what, for the diffuser, I'm gonna purchase cheaper. I'm gonna get this oil, especially if the oil that is selling on social media uses Young Living as a springboard. So what does that mean? That means, let's just say you're shopping for a Coach bag. Well, wouldn't it grab your attention if you're on social media and you see a beautiful bag and it says, feels like a Coach bag, looks like a Coach bag, smells like a Coach bag, but it's $10. Would that not grab your attention? And it's like, hey, I can get a Coach bag for $10. And then when you end up purchasing the bag, then you get to see, okay, maybe from a mile away, it looks like a Coach bag. But when you hold it up close and you know a Coach bag, it's not a Coach bag. It's much more serious when you get a cheap oil and you put it especially in one of our diffusers, because the ingredients, if you don't know how your oil is farmed, and it sounds like a gimmick, I totally get it, because I thought the person I purchased my kit to, I thought she was just a very seasoned salesperson. And she encouraged me. She's like, diffuse, put 10 drops, put 12 drops. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put 2 drops, right? I was very cautious of my budget, and I didn't understand the benefits of a diffuser. But now that I know what my diffuser puts in the air, right, it's very important for me to pay attention to the quality oil that is in the air, because I breathe it in. When I breathe it in, what parts of the body do you think it affects? Do you think it affects the brain? Do you think it affects the lungs? Do you think it affects the immune system? And when you diffuse Young Living regularly, right, especially things like thieves, cinnamon bark, citrus oils, you'll get to see how your family does during a season. If you pay attention, if you take note. If you're not a detailed person, right? If you live life on the edge of the seat of your pants, life is busy, sometimes the diffuser's on, sometimes the diffuser's off, sometimes maybe, if I remember, it's very possible you won't see benefits. It doesn't mean benefits are not there. Just like a smoker, maybe when they first start smoking, maybe they don't see the dangers. Maybe someone who uses a plug-in doesn't see the dangers right off the bat. Maybe they don't make a connection with lung issues, headache issues, skin issues. I know it was like that for us. For us, when my girls had the skin issues, I was a fragrance girl. I loved for you to walk into my house and for you to walk into a wall of fragrance. What I didn't connect was how often we were going to the doctor as a family. My girls' respiratory issues, especially one of them, and the one that suffered the respiratory issues, also, she was the one that had the most issues with her skin. Did I make the connection with what I was, lighting up with a candle or plugging into the wall? No. And so it's very logical for me, if someone's diffusing Young Living, if they're busy, if you are living life 100 miles per hour, that you might not see or notice or make the connection as to the benefits that you reap. But let me tell you, consequences are there, good or bad, depending on the choice of what you put in a diffuser. And a diffuser is even more important for me to pay attention to the ingredients I put in, because it's air that goes throughout the house. And I have little ones like this that are much more sensitive to smell than humans are. So I don't go expensive in my diffusers, right? I use citrus, I use lemongrass, I use Raven, that's free for the month of October, with a 100 PV, totally different, loyalty order. If you want to keep your account with Young Living open, it could be loyalty or it could be a quick order. PV, once a year, 100 PV. If you have questions on that, please contact me. Happy breathing day to you, and always take care and guard what you diffuse and put in your atmosphere. Have a great day, everybody.